Now it should show up on.
The stream is live.
Okay, so here we are. We are live in Tokyo, and we just kind of went live. This is pretty fun. Today we're going to be talking about NFTs, and I don't know a lot about this. What exactly is an NFT? The person that introduced this to me is Neil van Wouw, who's going to be joining us in this live stream to talk about it. And if you have any questions, you can write in the chat. This is a live stream. And using that information, we can ask Neil and get a better idea of what the NFT market in Japan is like. Now, I've seen this on Twitter and Instagram where artists are making digital art and selling it to people in a marketplace. I guess that's what an NFT is, but the person to ask is Neil, and I'm going to bring him here right now. Neil, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm actually getting kind of a delayed echo.
Oh, um, maybe if your YouTube is turned on, you're gonna have to turn that off because YouTube is delayed. Is that what's going on?
I,
If you're watching and you have YouTube window open somewhere, it might be playing that.
I, no, I think I just have the Zoom.
Okay. So you have a delay?
Oh, oh, that's actually possible. That was it. Okay, thank you. Sorry about
Well,
that.
yeah, as long as you can hear me, why don't you explain to us what is an NFT?
So an NFT is a non-fungible token, which is a blockchain term. So um, it's a way to link digitally on the blockchain to a piece of media or well, basically a piece of media, typically like a graphic or a movie, and then it's linked directly to the blockchain. So that means that something on the blockchain like that, it never disappears. It's always in public, and it can never be changed. So if you say, you know, so and so owns this piece of media, then it's you can be pretty confident that that's true for that. It's true, and that nobody can like fake that or replace it or anything like that. So it's very useful for, because one of the things about like art is how do you show ownership, especially for digital art. Like if I have a photograph and then someone and I say this is the original, and someone else has a copy and they say this is the original, which one of us is is correct, right? So if we use an NFT to link to the photo, and that photo, that NFT has been put on the blockchain at such at a certain time, then everybody can refer and check to that. Who has the NFT linked to that photo? It can
What's a
only be one.
blockchain? Like this is like digital currency kind of talk, right?
Yeah,
You have to know a little bit about Bitcoin
it's
and things like this in order to understand an NFT.
yes, sort of, but I mean on the one hand that stuff is like can get incredibly complex, but on the other hand it's just like, I mean, if you think of it like we're all used to using the internet now, but we don't really, most people don't understand all the underlying technology like TCP and all these things that are the very that make the internet work, right? So blockchain's kind of an underlying technology. It's a very clever way that somebody came up with to keep adding. It's a ledger basically, like in accounting. I mean,
Oh.
ledgers in accounting are incredibly boring, right? You put somebody, Sam paid Bill $3, and a Bill paid Susie $2, right? And you just keep adding to that, right? And the thing about a blockchain is when you add to it, and it's out there, it's not owned by anybody. So it's the data is sort of maintained by all these different computers in a very sort of clever way that makes it extremely hard for people to go back and change it. And that's the important thing, is that once it's on there, well, we know that, uh, Bill paid Susie $2, then that's there forever, right? And so Bitcoin, that's all Bitcoin does. And then there's another blockchain called Ethereum, which took Bitcoin to the next level, which is there's something called smart contracts. And smart contracts, instead of just saying Bill paid Susie $2, we can have a smart contract that it says if this thing happens, then let's do this, right? And it's on the blockchain, and so that's NFTs are created by smart contracts, and that's so it's something Bitcoin can't do that Ethereum can do, and it sort of opens up this whole new world of what's possible with assigning ownership and keeping track of it, and it's going to be very important in our world moving forward, and we'll all get used to it as we see the applications of it, things that we get used to, and the underlying technology, you know, that's only for the people that want to really deep dive in that stuff.
Yeah. Air to the Ron writes in here, what a delight. Welcome to the world of blockchain. All right. You look, I'm still completely lost. I sort of understood what you were talking about, but then I just tuned out and was looking at this
Yeah,
donut on my
sorry about
desk here.
that.
But wait, you've actually created one. Now this is Neil's company is called Scramble Media. Scramble, as in like scrambled eggs, Scrambled Media, and that's based here in Japan. And I get sort of an idea of what an NFT is. I'm still like googling fungible. I don't know exactly what that means. Like, is that like
Okay,
spongible with
that I
fungus?
can explain. So fungible means something that's replaceable. So money is fungible, like if and that's what Bitcoin is like. So if you take a 10 yen coin, and I have a 10 yen coin, and we swap our 10 yen coins, they're indistinguishable. They both work the same way. And an NFT is more like when you like collect a baseball card. The baseball card is like non-fungible because there's only one. There's only ever one that is that exact baseball card. Or your house, for example, there's only one your house. There's only one you. So things that can't be replaced by another equivalent thing are non-fungible.
Okay, so that's easy to understand. You've created on Scramble Media a non fungible image here that can go up for sale, which is a memory, and I think this is super cool. I'm holding it up right near. This is something that was created as a memory from Only in Japan Go, a stream that we did together, which was we went to a horror truck. And you had this is how I met Neil. I know Neil from a few years back, but we reconnected after a couple of years, like last week at a horror truck where Amazing Jiro has created this haunted house inside of a truck, like a mobile haunted house. And there were a couple of moments in there where I screamed like a child. And you could hear it from outside the truck, and it disturbed all of the wildlife around Tokyo Tower. There's not that much of that, luckily. I guess I could show it to everybody. Well, why don't you explain a little bit about these cards? These look like trading cards here. I'm gonna
Yeah.
put it up on the screen right here. What can you tell us about it? It's has the date. It says Mugan live stream from Tokyo Tower and explains what it is. Is this like a
Yeah,
listing
it's
from
exactly
Scramble
like a
Media?
trading card. It's a digital equivalent of a trading card. So we we sell art on our website typically, and um, but I started this. So this is just launching today. This the it's called Scramble Moments,
Oh
and it's going
wow.
to be like trading cards of like little milestones as we progress with our site. And so one of our milestones was you doing our first live stream when we went to at Tokyo Tower there. And so we captured that moment and made it into an NFT. So that's everyone's seeing it here for the first time. This is literally just went live an hour ago.
Oh wow. Yeah, this looks really cool. So I've got the website up now, um, and it's scrolling through here. So you can just make these digital images from a point in time and put it into a card, and these could be on the marketplace. That's so
Yeah.
cool.
So we created this part of our site. Well, one is just to sort of commemorate our little milestones, but this page, this part of our marketplace will be all of the proceeds that go from buying cars will go to charity, particularly sort of sustainability type initiatives. And we priced the NFTs very low, so that it's kind of a place for people who are new to NFTs. And I'm gonna be adding some pages on my blog, like exactly how to go about what are the steps to buying your first NFT. And this would be a good place to practice. And these NFTs, I mean, they look great, don't they? But these are created by Jesse Franklin, who is an Emmy Award winning CG professional and art CG artist. I mean, it's incredible. I mean, this was just put together over the last few days.
Oh, there's Pablo a little bit. I'm running outside of the truck. There's
Yeah,
sound effects here. Hold on, I can play it off
you
of my
gotta play it. You gotta
smartphone.
play it, John. It's so
Okay,
fun.
really? I don't know if I want to. Hold on. Oh, it even has a crappy. It ends with "I
Oh,
ate my
get the
mask."
ending part here. I ate my mask. Yeah.
That's really cool. Yeah. So if I'm still trying to figure this out. So somebody could purchase this one card. That's the only one
Yeah.
available
So
on
for
Earth,
it is
and
it's the only one, but like just like baseball cards, there's many only ones, because they sell them, and so more than one person could get the same kind of. Their cards would be individual, like one might have a ripped corner and the other one wouldn't,
yeah,
but they still. So for some of our, so we say this when we put up an NFT, right? For some of the art, we'll say one of one, which means there will only ever be one. So for the Scramble Moments, we will, we went through so much effort to create them. Jesse put so much hard work into creating them that we will mint more than one, but it's a limit. So it's a limited series, but there will never be more than 100, and probably it'll be more like 8 or 10. And then as we make new ones, we'll sort of, the other ones will just say sold out. So they will be very limited.
Are there any questions here? We're going to be going on for another 10 minutes or so talking about NFTs. And I'm going to ask Neil more specifically about the Japanese market for NFTs and the global market and the US market. Is this a global market? Is this a regional market? Um, I get a lot of questions about that, but I'm looking at the live chat here. And if you have any questions about NFTs, this is the time and the person to ask, because Neil, whenever I have a question about an NFT, I'm going to be going to Neil, because I don't. Peter might know a little bit about it, but I don't know too many people who have been in this marketplace. It's pretty new. How long have NFTs been around?
Just a few years, and it started sort of as an idea, right? Like how can we sort of tie this problem of digital content, like not having ownership, right? So it was sort of like, oh, hey, we can show that this works. And it started with little graphics of cats, crypto kitties, and little low res pictures of punks called crypto punks. And they were literally like, it was like, here, I made a bunch of these, they're free, pick one up. And now the crypto punks are selling like a Christie's auction for like millions of dollars. So it's a little bit mind-boggling how that has developed so rapidly in such a short time. The other super interesting thing about NFTs is that once you own it, you can resell it. So you
Oh.
and when you and it can be set up so that royalty goes to the creator. So the artist could continue to receive a royalty, which is typically like when you hear the typical art market for physical art, you hear of these amazing prices that paintings go for, but that doesn't typically go to the artist. That goes to some collector who bought it from another collector. So a lot of the big money gets made after the original sale. But
Mm.
with an NFT, the smart contract that governs how the rules for how the NFT can be sold can specify that the creator will always receive 10%, for example.
Oh wow.
And
So
yeah,
if this increase in value, like a Picasso painting, for example, and it keeps getting resold for millions and millions of dollars, the original creator will still receive an income from each one of those sales going on
yes,
because it's digitally tracked in some database.
exactly. Well, it's not a database, right? It's the blockchain. It's
The
on the blockchain.
blockchain.
Yeah. So it's not, if it was a database, it would be owned by some company, and then you're relying on that company to keep that going. But the blockchain is, it's sort of out there in the open.
It's out there. We got a lot of
And
questions here. Is NFTs, are these used for money laundering? I don't know.
well, I don't know about, I mean, the there's certainly like cryptocurrencies. You see the news like that like ransomware and stuff. But it's sort of like, is money used for money laundering? Is anything, is art used for money laundering? Anything of value could be. So there's always going to be that, right? But I
Totally
think,
different topic of
yeah.
crime, maybe for Peter Von Gogh's crime show. How much is one NFT?
So the the ones that we just launched today.
I guess the question is, so NFTs can be sold in any currency, and
So they can any you could say. So some people have tied in regular e-commerce sites, so they're accepting like dollars or other you know, reg, you know, regular fiat, regular sort of currencies. If it's in cryptocurrency, then it's likely to be, depending on the blockchain it's created on, and sort of how things are set up, whether it lets you buy in multiple cryptocurrencies. So
right.
this is we're on the Ethereum blockchain, so by default, the Ethereum is how to pay for it. And these moments are set up to be at zero point zero 0.01 ether, which at today's rate in Japanese yen, I guess that's about probably 2,500 yen or something.
Oh, okay. So the artist can sell this at any price they wanted to.
Yeah, you can
But
stick any price on it.
interesting. Peso writes in here, NFTs are often associated with other physical digital goods, which can be replicated, copied. While the token's ownerships can be traced back to you, how would you link the physical digital collateral to the buyer or owner?
Yeah, so that's an interesting thing. So in a way, for example, like with Mugan, right? Amazing Jiro's auction, which is starting tomorrow. That we're launching that tomorrow. So we're going to have several pieces of art from related to Mugan, but most of them are going to be bundles. So they're going to actually have a physical thing. So in that sense, the digital media is like a coupon. It's like if you got a coupon to go to get a free ice cream, then how is that coupon linked to the ice cream? It's like, well, you've got to redeem it somehow. So we will have a coupon, and that coupon will essentially the big one will actually be tied to the truck itself. So we will ship the truck anywhere in the world and send over, 5 people staff, and Jiro will go for a signing event, and we will run the haunted house, in your backyard if you want to bid on that.
So
So
the
that's
NFT. So when you say bid on this, the NFTs
it's an auction.
is an auction, and this is on Scramble Media.
Yeah. So it can be set up as with a set fixed price, or it can be set up as an auction. And there's various ways people are doing the auction. So the way we're doing it is the first we have a minimum bid, and the first bid over the minimum bids basically starts an auction to run that will run for a few days, and then
Interesting.
yeah.
Yeah. Wow. So this is new, and like for me, this is I didn't really know much about NFTs until last week when you were telling me about how this entire truck in the background of this trading card. You see, there's like this truck that we come out of. That's a horror haunted house made by a very famous artist here in Japan for horror, Jiro, and it's not just this card, it's the truck. The whole truck is going to be on your website to sell as an NFT. I like how is tell me a little bit, Neil, about the Japanese market for NFT. Is this a global thing? Is this something that's like an NFT market in the United States, or is there a Japanese NFT market? How is this all
So
separated? And the market is in on any website. It doesn't, there's no central marketplace like Skiji Market, which is where you would get your fish, right? This is anywhere, anytime.
Yeah, so it is certainly a global thing. The blockchain really has no borders. Uh, uh, but if you look at sort of where it's become popular, there's many Japanese people who and people in Japan who were into crypto in the very very early days. So there's at least and Japan was actually a hotspot in for cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, very early.
Mount
So there's
Gox.
certainly there's certainly yeah. So there's certainly a lot of people here, but I think that the big sort of news stuff that hit in the U.S. primarily and last year, especially the fall and then early this year, I think that sort of took off more in the U.S. and a lot of the stuff that was being talked about that wasn't being talked about in the Japanese media. So a lot of people in Japan are not as familiar uh, with it, and it's starting to get more news, and there have been
Mm.
several Japanese sites that popped up. Now, I've been making software and websites and services for people both B2B and B2C in Japan for 25 years, and I think we'll probably see a typical pattern where there's so many artists and so much creativity in Japan, but actually so little of it actually gets uh, put into English or broadcast outside of Japan or is known about outside of Japan. And so I think because there's a very healthy domestic market here, and I think the same thing will happen with NFTs. I already see it happening. I see sites that are very domestic focused popping up. So the purpose of Scramble, I mean, Scramble, we took the name from the Scramble crossing in Shibuya. So
Hachiko
it's
Scramble,
kind of,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. So it's kind of, the idea is we want to sort of mix, just have a mix of high art maybe, and punky art, and street art, and established artists, famous artists, and upcoming artists, and even things that maybe aren't considered art per se. I'm talking to artists that do traditional dyeing in Japan. Japan styles of using traditional materials to do color dyeing. And just yesterday, I was talking to somebody who is doing traditional lacquerware. So these are types of things that we might work with artists or craftsmen and try to do combinations of digital and physical things and bring that to the sort of bring Japan to the world from an NFT point of view.
It's fascinating to me. It's starting to sink in a little bit. I'm a little bit slower than most people with crypto and stuff like this. I have no crypto. I can't even figure it out. But NFTs is not just digital, is it? I mean, it's a digital. You can. This is the misconception, and I think Makare wrote in here that we were kind of dodging an issue. I don't think so. See, he's actually on an NFT has a a truck that can travel around the world to a location. So is an NFT only digital, or is it the digital currency? It's only bidden by digital money. Could you explain that a little bit?
Well, so the NFT itself, of course, is digital, and the blockchain is all digital.
Right.
But it's the idea of using digital things to represent, you know, transactions or linkages or physical items. I mean, it's something we already do with. I mean, if you have a piece of paper that's a deed to a property, right? It's a piece of paper, right? It's just a piece of
Right.
paper, and there's no string attaching it to that property. We accept that. We accept that as something that it is. It's a, we say, okay, that's valid, but usually based on the issuing authority, right? So that this is a key thing about blockchain is that most of the things that we accept in the past as sort of linkages, like a piece of paper, or bank accounts are all tend to be all digital, but we trust this number, this digital number represents some money that somebody has in an account because of a trusted authority. So there's these authorities we trust. There's banks and governments and corporations, and so blockchain takes that away from the centralized trust thing and says you don't need that central authority to trust because this is out in the open and nobody can change it, so you don't need the trust. It's there. It can't be changed. So that's a very important thing, and it's the thing that that got me involved with this because NFTs is sort of our first project, but I see this as a very key thing for technology for the world moving forward, and how we, for example, sustainability is something that is very critical moving forward. Like, how are we dealing with climate change?
Right.
And we know that somehow we have to keep track of carbon and we have to account for it. And right now, it's kind of the honor system. Like a company says, "Oh, we're trying very hard, so you should buy more of our stuff because we're good." Right? It's like, well, how are you good? What exactly are you doing, and what are the standards for tracking that and proving that? And we know that it's just natural for corporations to kind of fudge the numbers a bit, if or not necessarily fudge the numbers, but represent the numbers in a way that's most beneficial to themselves, if you leave it up, if you don't have standards, right? And this is blockchain is something where if it's a place, that's where the ledger thing comes in. If you can put very, very trustable numbers that account for everything related to carbon capture, carbon offset, carbon usage, then that blockchain is likely to be critical in how we get down to the nitty gritty of handling this moving forward. And this may take another decade or so, but I think it's inevitable.
Yeah, everything's going to be on sale in a marketplace. I think there's a comment in the live chat where somebody said they bought an image of a burrito for $100,000. Like, I think these sensational stories, you're going to hear more and more of them where an image of something sold for a ridiculous amount of money, and that brings in a lot of press,
Yeah,
and
well,
this
there's
helps.
actually like the Japan, the Dogecoin, right, is
Right.
all based on the Doge meme, right? And the Doge meme came from just a photograph, a regular photograph in Japan. So this is a meme that came from a photo in Japan. And recently, the owner of that photo, the original photo, put it on auction on the same on Zora, which is the same auction platform that Scramble is powered by. And that photograph, literally a photograph of the pet dog, sold for $4.5 million.
What? See, it's these sensational stories that is generating a lot of buzz for NFTs and making people kind of open their eyes to them, but they're ridiculous in scale. And like the majority of NFTs is not like owned by just rich, crazy people who want to buy something because it's in the media. For me, this kind of reminds me of the mango auction. In Miyazaki, they have mangoes. The mango is like what, $10-15 in Miyazaki because they put a lot of effort into growing just one of them. There's cost. And at the auction, you can buy a pair of them for like $5,000. But it's a gift to generate media buzz, which is good for the mango industry in Miyazaki. Ooh, the mangoes are valued at $5,000, but nobody would actually buy that for $5,000. It's just on the auction. Is that sort of what is happening sometimes in the news? Because that's what.
I think so. Some of it's like PR. So if you think about it, like, well, why would a trading card go for hundreds of thousands of dollars too, like a physical baseball card or something? So it's rarity and it's people, liking it and wanting it. But sometimes what you really get is sometimes with NFTs, what you're really buying is the bragging rights. I paid for this and I own it.
Right. Right. And then we see, like, I'm looking at some of the live chat right now, and they're talking about digital currency, where it's hard to know, like, Dogecoin has turned into a joke, and people invested in that, got burned, and now they went back to Bitcoin, which is like $38,000 for one Bitcoin, which is crazy, and maybe even will be going up from that. But I guess Neil, what I kind of want to put a ribbon in this here now, and it just seems like NFTs is a kind of like we're just so used to dealing with cash, paper money, and even digital money is new on a Suica, where we can put cash to put it onto a card. So now everything in the world has value, even digital art, and that can be sold in this marketplace, and you can buy it. What do you do? And then you just hold on to that digital art, and it might incur value. Like, I think these NFT cards that you have made here are super cool. Hold on, let me get the window open. This is super cool. It looks really cool. But why do people buy it? Like, it's not a physical thing. I'm trying to wrap my head around it. Can you?
Yeah, well, you might buy it because you're like, oh, I'm pretty sure Jesse Franklin, who created these, is going to be a pretty famous artist in the future. So owning something like this that he curated and made, that could be a good investment. Or you could just go, that's cool, it's going to charity. Or you could be going, I just want to try this out. I want to try this, and here's something. It's cheap, and I can get it, and I can figure this out. And it looks like a safe place to buy an NFT. So it's like whatever your personal reasons are. But
I kind of like that. It's with right here in this live chat. Viewers can give me super chat or a little bit of money as a gift, and ask a question, which will light up really big, and I'll be able to answer that. And creators can make some money from it. NFTs seem to be like, when you buy one, you're sort of also investing in that creator. And there's a lot of creators of digital art and other things, and the value of that digital art or that thing, because it's connected to a real life person, is going to accumulate value. Or the image is just something that connects with people on a really high level, and that's one of a kind. So that's what people are owning. Is that what? Am I getting it right?
Yeah,
Writer.
yeah, I think so. I mean, it's the same as any kind of collectible. Why would people buy some other collectible? It's some of them, it's just intensely, that's their hobby. They're into it. And other people are like, this could be worth more later and I can sell it for more. Uh, and other people are doing it because their friends said, their friends are doing it. And they're like, oh, I should do it too. So, it's a little bit of all of that. But definitely, there's so much more to talk about this. And, we be happy to have a part two at a later date. We'll find another angle on this and keep exploring it.
Yeah, I'm fascinated by it because I don't understand it completely, but I have a better grasp of what an NFT is, and I guess it's not until you buy one maybe or really invest into it that you understand it. Like how much now these NFTs that the cards that you made here, these are going all to charity, right? So
Yeah.
like it's an auction. So what do
No,
you
the
start?
cards are not auctioned.
Oh, these
They have a
cards.
set price.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
So,
have you decided a price on these cards?
yeah, they're point zero one ether, which is about 2,000 yen or 2,500 yen right now.
Okay, so about $25.
Yeah, and then you've got to pay. There's like a kind of a fee for running anything on a blockchain. And the fee kind of goes up and down day by day, but it's probably going to be another cent or so to buy it, to actually do the transaction.
There's audio to this too, by the way. This is
It's the only one we did with out of our series. It's the only one we did with audio. I just had to get that scream in there, and I ate my mask. It's so good.
Yeah, you got that. You got that. Like I kind of like this being able to capture really funny moments or something that was just a viral moment inside of a video or something like this, and then capturing that and then selling that as an NFT. I think I've seen some news stories where people have been selling NFTs like logos or like animation or like little teeny clips of it and raising money and generating awareness based on the media that comes from it already. Has there been any famous NFTs that you can think of right now? As it's just an example of
Well,
something
so
like that?
I mentioned the dog one, and actually, I don't know exact percentage, but a portion of that went to charity. And the buyer of that paid the 4.5 million was a group called Pleaser DAO, and a DAO is a decentralized autonomous organization. So it's a little group that came together just to buy NFTs, and they're buying big ticket stuff, typically associated with charities. It's extremely cool because it's almost like an MPO, but it's just literally on the blockchain. A bunch of people invested and they set up a smart contract. So they each, depending on what they've chipped in, they all own a piece of what they buy, and together they vote on what they should buy next. And they they have some of the coolest pieces out there that have been
Yeah.
related to charity initiatives.
So I'm showing that Dogecoin, the Shiba Inu, right? The one that was
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
somebody paid $4 million for this thing.
Yeah. So that not this. This is just so that, I mean, this is a meme, right? So everybody copied the photo and did stuff with it, right? But the actual
Right.
original photograph was put up for auction.
I just found this off of the internet and put it up on the screen. So that image sold for $4 million, and the meme was something that was viral all around the world. So everybody knew what it was. It was a famous meme. So that had a lot of value, generating $4 million for it. So basically, a digital art that you could buy for $20 could over time become this big meme that accumulates lots of interest, raising the price of it, and you could resell that at 10 times the cost. When you resell it and get like a nice windfall, a percentage of that goes to the original creator. That's pretty cool.
It is.
So that means the original creator never really, I mean, loses connection with it and gets something from it. That's, I mean, yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. As a creator, I think that's pretty cool. So,
Yeah.
where do you see this going in the future? And I think it'd be pretty cool as this evolves and you launch Scramble Media and some of these get on the marketplace to bring you back in. And I'm fascinated on the NFT market in Japan, how this is going to evolve. Probably in a few months, we're going to have a lot more feedback on how successful this is. But
There's so much to say on this, where it's going. And I mean, I touched on, I think, the link with sustainability, the link with potentially funding open source projects, for example. There's something really cool happened a couple weeks on that. Yeah, I'd love to come back and do, like, I could bring collections of, like, what are the sort of strangest NFT things that happened over the past little while, or also touch on some of these really cool initiatives um, on the blockchain.
right.
So let's do that next time.
Let's do that because we have to let you go. I the one question I is in a lot of people's minds is this something that could just fizzle? Do you think? If you could just answer this one and then we'll cut off. Like
Right.
people are a little bit
Uh,
scared about
Yeah,
that.
so the answer to that is a definitive no. It's not going to fizzle, right? So, I mean, you get bubbles where things get like a little bit overhyped, and we saw a little bit of that in the spring, and things got a little bit crazy, like people were paying too much for all kinds of stuff, and then that just disappeared, right? And then it sort of settled down. But there's right, but in the mean, it didn't go away. There's just everywhere around the world there's creators and artists thinking up new, interesting ways to do stuff with NFTs. And there's big brands coming in. NBA Top Shots is basically taking cool clips of just like we did with you there. They're taking like really cool basketball, points, so game winners and stuff like that, and turning them into cards and selling those, and that's a huge success. So this is not going away. It's not. It's gonna become massive.
Yeah, I've got some of the sales here from Scramble Media panning across the screen, and that's really cool. I'm pretty excited for you, Neil, and I'm excited about this NFT market. I think I got a better understanding of what it's all about, but I'm looking forward to having you back on and just talking more about NFTs in the future. Thanks so much also for bringing me into this project with Jiro and making an Only in Japan Go NFT. That's pretty cool. I'm interested to see how this works out. Thank you
All
very
right.
much.
Thank you, John. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Bye bye. And that's Neil van Wouw. He's from Scramble Media, and you can take a look at it, scramble.media. There's a link in the description if you want to check this out. He's the only... I know some people on Twitter that are digital artists that have NFTs being sold on the marketplace. They're really cool pieces of art that move and jitter, and they make the image come alive where you can feel Tokyo in them. Um, but Neil is the only friend that I have that's taken this to like make their own marketplace, and that's pretty exciting. And I'm very curious to see how this all works out. And again, we'll bring Neil back in a few months to see how Scramble Media is doing with some of the things that they've sold, and maybe even see if the Only in Japan Go NFT has sold. Again, like all the money is going to charity, so none of it's coming to me, which is fine. Unless it's been sold again, apparently, because I would get then like 10% of that or something, or Neil would. That's interesting. That whole the way it works. But I'm really fascinated about this technology. And if you want and have some questions in the comments below on this video, let me know what you think, because I'm still kind of learning about this, and I think a lot of you might be too. I don't know if this is that for me. I don't know if this is something I'm going to buy a lot of, but you just never really know, which is why I have friends that have Bitcoin and all sorts of cryptocurrency because they're just not sure if this is going to be the future. So they invest in a little bit of it because you can't go wrong if you just put a little bit of it. Maybe I skip that cup of coffee and buy some, cryptocurrency. Anything is possible in today's world. Do you have any questions here before I get off of the live stream here? We have the J Vlog for new undershirts. What do you mean you don't like this one? What is it? Is that a hint? Could be. Yesterday, I was with NBC reporter Amanda. Uh, I can't remember her last name. Whenever I'm on the camera, I Placentas, I think, is her last name. She's from NBC Miami 6, and we get a chance to talk about how the media came into Japan and the process that they had to go through in order to come into Japan for the Olympics, because there's not a lot of tourism coming into Japan. Her experience, she described it in pretty good detail while we were walking around Akihabara. So you might want to check that out and see that this might be an indication of how tourism returns to Japan in the future. So you might want to check that live stream. Was from yesterday in Akihabara on a very hot day. It looks like another hot one. It's sunny skies in Tokyo, and I might go out there for another live stream later on in the afternoon. Any live questions here? I might be going on Twitch as well. Don't waste your money, writes in Wayne. I think, these NFTs are such a new thing. I don't know what the value of it is to somebody yet. And I think the market is just evolving right now. And that meme that sold for $4 million, I think that's going to be kind of uncommon. But putting a price on something, I don't know. There's jewelry, for example, that has a value to somebody because it's precious. And I don't know, like I would never buy like diamond necklaces and a bunch of jewelry because I don't see the value in precious stones, for example. So for me, the precious stones market was never something I understood at all. Why is that stone worth that much? Just because it's rare. I don't want it. It doesn't help me. I can't eat it. So for me, it has no value. A diamond has no value for me, unless I need to get like out of jail and I need it as a bargaining tool in prison or something. It could be, but maybe NFTs become something that you use in prison to bargain for cigarettes. I don't know. Look, I'm just trying to think outside of the box to try to find a practical purpose of it. But no, I'm not going to be going to prison anytime soon. How did that even come up? All right. Some of the questions, here in the live chats are pretty good, but I've never thought of it in a lot of NFTs or cryptocurrency or this. Hold on a second. Crypto is complex. I agree with Mrs. Quills Johns. If you go there, do your homework. Absolutely, writes in Shane here. Tony P writes in. NFTs are just a fad, already dying. Could they come back? Maybe, but I doubt they will sustain. I think it just depends how this market goes. I don't think it's ever going to go once it started. I don't think it's going to go away. I think this marketplace, you're going to see more really famous creators come in and start to sell stuff, which is going to generate more buzz. It's just going to be done by creators and who can make money off of this. Then you're going to see some pretty amazing things possibly sold as NFTs. I don't know. This is just possibly the future. So maybe it goes away. I don't know, but I don't see that happening. I just see it only getting bigger as more people see the potential of it. Big creators with large audiences could set something up on an auction, and that could generate quite a bit of a buzz, which could generate quite a bit of money. I don't know. These things get in the media, people see it, they embrace it more, and then everybody is doing it. And I think for the everyday person like me, or anybody, it's going to be really hard to sell an NFT unless it's got a cool value to it. And I see a lot of creators on Instagram that are making images that are sold as NFTs and generating enough revenue to keep them going as creators, something similar to Patreon, which is what keeps me afloat, selling postcards to people. But I like to send the physical medium to people because I like stamps, and I like the art of sending a postcard and receiving it in the mail, which is pretty nostalgic in this digital age. By the way, I have a postcard club, so you can go check that out on Patreon. The The blockchain is a tech protocol and applicable to many, many things. Yeah. So I don't think it's going to be going away. I think it just has to do with understanding. I grew up in the 1980s. We didn't have this. Now it's about me learning about it, just like people that grew up in the 1960s had to learn about VCRs and stuff because they didn't. It was actually hard. In fact, I still couldn't, even until the death of VCRs, I couldn't figure out how to do the timer. Just really complex to get in there with the buttons. Ask a millennial about sending a fax, huh? Actually, I don't think that's that hard. That's a pretty bad example. Has anyone done anything with an NFT as a key? Interesting. So, like, I personally, I haven't. I simply can't wrap my head around how all of this really works, and I think having Neil on as a guest and people here in Japan on as a guest to explain a little bit about the marketplaces and how this works gives me a better understanding. And I'm glad today that I could share just a little bit of it with you, because maybe that helps you helps you to get into it or not to get into it, because I just know it's a word that we're going to hear more of. So Tony P, maybe just a little bit, I disagree because I don't know, but I think NFTs are going to be here for a while. Maybe NFT is not a really cool name, so maybe it'll come into a cooler name. Like they shouldn't have named the space shuttle the space shuttle. They should have named it like Badass Rocket or something, right? So I don't know. Space shuttle sounds boring, like shuttling back and forth between airport terminal 1 and 2. It's like, whoever came up with that at NASA needs to be fired, or they probably were. Awesome, Adam from 2099. Thank you very much for that. And look, leave me a question below. I didn't know what to expect, and I'm really happy that Neil joined me. And Neil's helping me create a horror episode for Only in Japan's main channel, where I'm going to be making an edited episode about explaining Japanese horror in great detail on how that's different from Western horror for an October release on the main channel. And I've got a couple other episodes on the way. I'm like looking for last questions and I don't see anything. John, if you use a credit card, right? Yeah, that's sort of what it is. It's virtual money that's created by physical money. Yeah. So, I mean, like an NFT has to have some sort of physical value too, right? For me, if I can't eat it and I can't wear it and I can't throw it and I can't look at it and go, wow, that looked on my wall, that's really cool. Like, does it even exist? It's just a bunch of pixels, or I'm just a bunch of cells. Like, if you really break this down into anything, you break it down. Like, it's hard for me to see value in anything, except for my family, which is over there. They're probably watching me right now. So, hi Kanai, hi Leo, how you doing? So if you do break stuff down, you can psych yourself out and not see any value in anything. It's just like 40 million pixels put together, So there's that. Have you ever been to Ichiran's ramen restaurant? Now we're getting into it. All right. When the chat gets off of the topic, you know that it's time to end this live stream. What's an NFT then? Yeah, you know what, Eric? You're going to just have to play this back, because NFT is like something that is sold in a marketplace that you can bid on, and it's digital. Does John exist outside of YouTube? Kumo, that's a good question. I could just be a bunch of pixels, but if you ask Amanda yesterday, we touched elbows, which is, what non-cool people do in the pandemic. And I was there. She touched something, and it was my elbow. I'm pretty sure it was an elbow. I don't know. Are you really there? Look, who wrote that? UFO Bob, are you really there? Because I just see like a bunch of pixels in the form of UFO Bob with a wrench. You know what I mean? So, look, value is in feelings too. And when I see art, I get a feeling, and I want to express myself. And sometimes I can see the value in buying stickers. Do you remember when I don't know if in Japan we use a messaging app called Line, and Line is I don't know, WhatsApp is, a lot of the world uses that, but in this part of the world, Line is really big. You could buy stickers online. They were like $1 or $2, and you'd be able to buy 24 stickers, just digital images, right? And you could share those digital images with friends. That had a value to you because when you shared that image, you got some sort of emotional feeling from it, like Totoro, like you were purchasing Totoro and Totoro's emotions to share as your own, right? So people bought these stickers. Like, I don't know if they're really that popular right now, but I can see how digital images have a value because we've been buying them for a long time in other marketplaces already. Then there's in video games, buying like in-app purchases and stuff for more digital coins to do stuff with inside of a digital world, or buying digital banners inside of a digital world. You know, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me as a kid, you know, grew up in the 1980s, but it sort of does. I would pay money to get my name on a wall in Metroid. All right? Imagine that, like having my name graffitied on a wall. I would pay like $20 for that. So I can see digital marketplace just growing. Maybe I'm completely off. Just let me know in the comments how bad off I am with all of this in my line of thinking. I thought about making line stickers, but I just couldn't. I couldn't bring myself to do it. Hi from Chile. Hey, here, bless you and like all of your videos, but can't wait to get to Japan. 86% of my country is vaccinated. We are ready to travel. Yeah, Chile was one of the first countries to get over 70%. So hopefully you can. Chile will be one of the first countries to travel, which would be pretty cool. Prime Pro Visual is in the house, cheering me on with a animated emoji, and once again, like that's a digital form of like a gift that I received from Prime Pro Visual. I guess this is sort of like a feeling that you're sending, just like with line stickers. And like the NFT marketplace, I don't see it really going away. But I don't know how it's going to grow. This is the big question mark for me. And Neil is the answer. And I'm looking forward to having Neil back in a few months. Maybe after he sells the Only in Japan Go. I don't know how it works, but the link is in the description of this video, which you can check out. And that'll take you to Scramble.media's website. He's launching it, I believe, today or tomorrow. And you'll be able to bid on some stuff, and we'll see what kind of value it has. And maybe the person who buys it for charity will get them on Only in Japan Go and asked why they bought it and what did it mean to them to buy it and what are they going to do with it. Like, I don't want some guy looking at my NFT in the restroom on his smartphone. Like, I don't know. Wait, as a creator, can I put stipulations on how my art is used? But I guess Van Gogh didn't know. Like, some guy could put his, artwork in his, $1 billion toilet house if you wanted to. You could do whatever you want with it when you buy it, right? Like, I didn't think about that. I don't want somebody looking at my image in the restroom. Are you watching this in the restrooms? That's awful. Get out of there. Oh, gosh. All right. You know what? I got to end right now. I'll try to do another live stream. Hello, fans from Taiwan. And Taiwan is doing a pretty darn good job in the Olympics, too. I've been watching some pretty good competition. And it's nice to see Taiwan winning some medals. Toilet Squad. Nosh, you get out of there right now and wash your hands. And your smartphone. It's nasty. All right, you squad. Where is Kanye? Kanye is not my wife. Thank goodness. It's Kanae, but I know like autocorrect will do that. It's Kanae, and I think you might have seen her in the background going by every now and then. This was an important live stream for me to do because this is how Twitch is going to be done through this camera and this kind of a format. So if I can do this, that means I can do Twitch, and we're back. So Thanks so much, everybody, for watching. NFTs are all about royalties. I guess so. And it's all about value and seeing if it has value to you, then you'll buy it, and that gives something back to the creator and helps them to keep creating. And NFTs create jobs. Like NFT supports a family. Like you could look at it for so many different ways. NFT destroys the environment from the electricity it creates. It's just like every single angle electricity needed. So there's lots of different angles to look at this from. NFT is a way to share art. Right? NFTs are a way to share a feeling with other people and to put a value on it. Maybe that's a good thing. I'm watching from a trunk. Chan, you know what? You're not in that same trunk. I returned that car to Toyota Rent-A-Car. It's already been cleaned. If you're still in there, how did you stay in there? Like, where exactly are you hiding? In the back seat? Like, inside of the seat, and you took out all of that, like, mochi filter filling stuff out? And the springs, too? And that's gross. All right? Don't do that. Get out of the trunk. Stop playing in the trunk. Do you need a key? Is it a blockchain key? Can anybody give Chan a blockchain key to get out of the trunk? It's a digital trunk? Is this like the Matrix where Neo was stuck in a subway station? Is that what you're in, Chan? It's apparently in Australia because that's where your currency's from. So I can tell where you are by your currency. Ha! There. Take that, blockchain. All right. I just broke this whole system wide open. I'm glad that you had this stream, John. Thank you, Mrs. Quills. I'm glad you... I believe this stuff is the future, but there needs to be more changes and consumer-friendly stuff first. I agree. I think once we see some more really big names embrace this, not billionaires, but normal big names... we'll see some growth in NFT market maybe, but I guess I have sort of officially joined it by working with Neil in Scramble Media to get an only in Japan NFT kind of card. And I want to hear what you think of this. I think Neil is super creative, and he came up with this idea, and he's working with an Emmy award-winning artist who created this card. It's beautiful. It's really interesting. It reminds me of the old, like an iPod Nano kind of thing. And so, like, it would be pretty cool to own this because it looks cool. What do you think? I don't know so much about this, like how this is going to sell, because this is my first time seeing it. When I first heard the name Google, I thought it was stupid. And then I kept hearing it, and then I thought it was cool. So, like, Google? But it's cool now, sort of. It is. YouTube? What? And then, like, it's just a brand now. So sometimes things take only in Japan? What? So it takes a little bit of time before it soaks in. Then people are like, yeah. Just takes... time. All right, thanks so much for the questions here. I appreciate it very much. This is sort of fun. If you have a comment, leave it below, and I'll respond over the next few hours. I don't know if I'm gonna go out. It's really hot. Maybe I'll spend some time editing the next video, which is what I should be doing, hanging out with Leo. And Kanai. I nominate you for Streamy. Please do. I would take that nomination and then sell it as a digital image. I don't know. Am I thinking the wrong way? I just want to have fun and eat delicious foods. Can I do that? Some artists even include the original artwork and a sales receipt. That's interesting. That I would like to, if a digital art was printed out and then signed by the creator and you got both, that would be pretty cool. That'd be pretty cool. Yeah, Tony P, I'm working on that now. So there should be something up pretty soon. I don't know artists include physical items. I didn't know that either. I think that might just be something that gets you over the hump. Look, do you remember, like, not everybody owned a Blu-ray player, but sometimes they sold the Blu-rays with the DVDs. Do you understand? So then you had both formats. because if you didn't have a Blu-ray player, you can get the DVD too to take it to somebody who didn't have a Blu-ray player. So you got both, a best of both worlds. So maybe this is like a tweener where you can get. I'm not. This is not a Prison Break reference, but I did get the word tweener from Prison Break. It's from Teabag, who's an inmate and who really harassed Michael Schofield. Never mind that, but by tweener I mean like an in-betweener. Did I just mess this up? So, like, is this something that connects one to the other? So you get the physical media until physical media no longer matters, and we just have like Google glasses or Apple glasses, and we just see things that we can purchase to put in our fake digital world. I don't know what the world looks like, but I hope we don't get rid of the normal world. Like, this is getting deep. I hope we don't get rid of the normal world. I was watching Demolition Man just in the background, and there was a scene where Sylvester Stallone is thawed to help get Simon Says Criminal, played by that other guy. I can't remember the names, but he's in with Sandra Bullock, and they decide to go to the room to do it, and they do it digitally. And Sylvester Stallone just can't wrap his head around it. And that's how I feel with NFTs. I'm Sylvester Stallone in Demolition Man with Sandra Bullock right now doing this digital thing, the digital limbo. And it's not cool until I figure it out. Can you show the NFT again? I can. I could. Let me just get it here on the thing. I think it's pretty cool. I'll do it one more time so you get to see it. You get to see it with the sound effects. The sound effects are necessary. Here, I'll rewind it. Okay, are you ready for this? Here we go. Ready? 3, 2, 1.
I ate my mask!
All right, that's it. Is that worth $1,000? $5? I don't know. Anything? I don't know. So Neil put that up on Scramble.media, and I believe it'll go on sale. The proceeds all going to charity, and that's pretty cool. We'll see what happens with it, and the link is in the description. One more time, just a big thank you to Neil van Wouw, who is the president of Scramble Media and came up with this idea. He's also NFTing a truck, the horror truck that I live streamed in for that NFT, and I'm really curious to see how that goes, where they can send the horror truck to another country around the world, and Jitto will go in person too, sold as an NFT. I don't know how this, for me, I can't wrap my head around it. I just have to experience it, and then maybe I'll know. Thank you, everybody. I'll see you in the next live stream, which might be later today if I decide to go out to one of the Olympic venues, because the games are going on, and I want to be out there, which I shouldn't be, which is another reason I'm doing this. Anyways, have a good day. I'll see you in the next live stream.